This is Saranyan. Today we will see about the major container orchestration tools in the market. Before that, we'll have a short introduction on container orchestration. Basically, simply speaking, contains your microservice application, and container orchestration helps in automation, automating scheduling containers to your node, auto scaling of your containers, auto healing, say that in case something fails, automatically it will be brought up. In case a node goes out, the container will be brought up in another node. Networking, service discovery and load balancing in case you have multiple instances of your container, load balancing, automatic rollouts, and rollbacks in case you want to come back. So these things without orchestration you will have to do it manually. So basically container orchestration mainly is the automation of much of the operational effort required to run containerized workloads and services. Basically the management of your containers life cycle, including provisioning, deployment, scaling up and down, networking, load balancing, etc. So we will see some of the major container orchestration tools, because there are a lot in the market. We will see some of the major ones. So first we will see Azure Service Fabric. Azure Service Fabric is from Microsoft. So basically Azure Service Fabric is a distributed systems platform for packaging, deploying and managing stateless and stateful applications and containers at a large scale. It is from Microsoft, but it is also having open source, and it is a best fit for using meaning good fit for applications built using Windows Server containers. We'll see more details, but we'll see where it has been seen as a good fit for application built using Windows Service containers. But if you see, it also supports Linux, on-premise and other clouds as well. And mainly it is used to lift and shift existing Windows based applications to Azure. So basically you will avoid complete re-architecturing, and you can bring it to Azure. So it provides good integrations with Azure services. So I have a link which I will paste in the description, but there are other things also which I want to show about Azure Service Fabric. So basically Azure Service Fabric, as I told, is an open source. We will see the conditions of that. So we have a GitHub repository for Azure Service for the Service Fabric. It is also available as a free download for Windows Server. So you can create Service Fabric clusters on-premise or in other clouds. So let's see some of the details about the open source code and things like that. Okay. So this is the Azure Service Fabric. This is the Service Fabric GitHub repository, github.com, Microsoft Service Fabric. Yeah. So we have the GitHub for Service Fabric here. So basically people can contribute to it. So this is the link to the Microsoft Service Fabric, Azure Service Fabric. So though it comes from Microsoft, it's an open source, but there are some conditions also. So we have the details. So I will post the link for this in the description. And so the main questions, you will have some many questions are there. So how is it open source and how much is it open source? So basically this link provides the details. So parts of Service Fabric is open source, like the Reliable Service Framework, Cactus Framework, CLI, etc. And they accept community contributions also for that. So things are moving towards open source, even though it is Microsoft. So they have some plans to open source their runtime as well. So things will keep on be updated. So keep watching this questions area and also the blog in that. Okay, and for learning more on the Azure Service Fabric, you can go to this link and learn. You can start creating Service Fabric, .NET application, Windows container app, Linux container app to Service Fabric, etc. Yeah, I will paste this link as well. Amazon ECS is Amazon Elastic Container Service. It is a scalable container orchestration platform. It is proprietary. It is from Amazon. So it provides better integration with Amazon cloud services as it is native to the platform, and it provides many options. So you can launch thousands of containers across the cloud, and you use the preferred integration CI/CD tools. You have the option of automatically scaling the desired count of tasks. You have two options, either Amazon ECS with EC2 or Fargate. In Fargate option, we don't have to um, manage, upgrade the individual host, manage security, etc. So that is taken care, and you save a lot of cost with Amazon ECS services using this autonomic provisioning, auto scaling options. You can increase or decrease the count of tasks in the Amazon ECS automatically. And you can have pay as you go pricing as well. And as mentioned over here, you can seamlessly integrate with other AWS management and governance solutions. It is a bit easy to use, proprietary, but it's not very difficult to move containers running over here to others. It is similar to Kubernetes only. You can have also, there is an option called Amazon ECS Anywhere, wherein you can run and manage containers on any customer managed infrastructure using the same cloud-based, fully managed and highly scalable orchestration service that you have in AWS today. So it has been highly used, Amazon ECS service. It's proprietary, has better integration with other cloud services. You can run Docker containers and Windows containers as well, but well suited for Docker containers. You can see more information on https aws.amazon.com/ecs. Hashicorp Nomad. So it is a simple and flexible scheduler and orchestrator that can be used to deploy and manage containers and non-containerized application on on-premise and as well as on clouds. Compared to Kubernetes, it is very simple in usage and maintainability. They are saying developers maybe in a couple of hours itself they can get familiarized and start doing work on Nomad. And it is flexible to deploy and manage containerized and non-containerized applications compared to Kubernetes. Where Kubernetes offers end-to-end orchestration capabilities such as service discovery, load balancing, configuration management, etc. Nomad has excelled in you see over here, you have details on Nomad versus Kubernetes. I will post a link for more details. So Nomad has also performed strenuous benchmark with around 1 million container challenge in 2016 with around 5,000 nodes and 2 million container challenge in 2020. So details are there in this. Basically, Nomad has been proven to have scalability of 10,000 nodes and 2 million containers, while Kubernetes record is like around 5,000 or something nodes and maybe 3 lakh containers. Okay, each one has its own advantages and disadvantages. So if you see over here scaling of 1 million containers with 5,000 nodes, etc. So this is very useful. For example, in the trading firm to make a buy or a sell decision using these 1 million container nodes and these containers and 5,000 nodes or 10 million, 2 million ones, and then slowly ramp down. So the trading firm can make a buy or a sell decision using this high capability of Nomad, and then ramp down when the desired thing is achieved. Okay. So Nomad mainly aims on cluster management and scheduling, and is designed with the unique philosophy of a smaller scope, while composing with tools like Console for service discovery, service mesh, and Vault for secret management. Other products like Terraform are also coming from Hashicorp. Docker Swarm. Docker Swarm is an open source container orchestration and scheduling uh, system built and maintained by Docker. So basically, a Swarm consists of multiple Docker hosts, of which run in Swarm mode, and there are managers and worker nodes. So managers are used for managing the scheduling and orchestration, and worker nodes are used to run the Swarm services. So if you see the advantages of Docker Swarm, it is very easy to install and configure compared to Kubernetes. It is lightweight, beginner friendly, and also tools, services, and software that run with Docker containers also work well with Swarm. So there is a familiarity as well. But compared to Kubernetes, it is less feature rich. So it will be suitable for less complex workload, and if you're just moving into container world. Apache Mesos Marathon. So Apache Mesos consists of three main components. One is the application framework, for example, the Hadoop, MPI, Storm, and you can have many other frameworks. Marathon is just one framework. Um, it consists of another thing is the master, wherein which helps in scheduling the task received from the frameworks onto the agent. And then agents are responsible for running the task. So framework consists of two parts. One is the scheduler, and another is the executor. Scheduler registers with the master, and then when any task is needed to be run, an executor is run on the agent. Okay, so we have frameworks, and then we have a master, and then we have agents wherein the tasks are run. So Marathon is just one of the framework available in the Apache Mesos, and it is a container orchestration framework. Okay, it can run both containerized and non-containerized workloads. Capability wise, it supports auto scaling, load balancing, upgrades, rollbacks, etc. With the experimental Flocker integration, it provides support for persistent volumes. Okay, it is suitable for large organizations. There are some storage limitations with respect to Mesos Marathon. So it has basically supposed to, it is just having some beta support only for Amazon EBS, etc. So the detailed limitations you can check on this link. So Mesos is a little bit complex to install. So but you can use a Mesos Mini, which is a Docker image. Okay, so you can just run it like any other Docker image. So framework, Marathon framework, a master, and a agent will be created, and you can try your Apache Mesos Marathon. Okay, so this link you can check for the storage related details and also the limitations. So you can check the detailed comparison along with Kubernetes and the latest architecture. This is something which I picked, this image I picked from here. So you can check the latest architecture and details over here. Yeah, now we are seeing Kubernetes. So this is an open source platform used for container orchestration. So even though we are seeing it the last, it has become the de facto standard for deploying and operating containerized applications. It has a lot of features. I'm just listing some of them. So helpful in scheduling containers to node. Smallest unit is pod, which can contain single container or more than one container, which will just help the main container. So auto scaling, you can always increase the number of pods and or even decrease based on your workload. Auto healing, in case a node fails, automatically pods in the nodes are shifted to another node, and in case a pod fails, the desired state is maintained. Networking, service discovery, and load balancing. So if you have multiple instances of pod, automatically load balancing is happening. It helps in doing that. Also networking, so communication between two pods, etc. is available. Automated rollouts and rollbacks. You can get a new version of your application rolled out, and you have different variety of rollouts available. Like either you can roll out all at once, or maybe 25%, one at a time, 25%. Say for example 4 instances are there, you can roll out one at a time, say 25%, or you can decide the percentage, and you can roll back also. Okay, so you have persistent storage as well, so you can store data either locally, or which is normal one, like which will go off after you restart within the pod or within the node, or even in persistent storage, for example NFS, or even in cloud like Amazon EBS, Google, Azure. There are a lot of connectors available, and you can store in different places. Persistent storage, I have listed limited features only, but there are many features available in Kubernetes. If you see other details, it's slightly complex to implement Kubernetes and maintain, but many of these complexities can be resolved for going for managed Kubernetes. Managed Kubernetes in the sense going for Kubernetes in AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. So if you see the market share, this I got it from this URL. I will paste the link as well. So around 51% is in AWS, and 34% in Azure, and around 26% in Google Cloud. So other than this, there are Oracle Cloud and other people also providing Kubernetes services. Maybe I will try to provide detailed description on managed Kubernetes later on. In summary, we saw many of these container orchestration tools: Azure Service Fabric, Amazon ECS, Hashicorp Nomad, Docker Swarm, Mesos Marathon, Kubernetes. So these are some of them. There are a lot of other things as well, that are maintained and maybe not having not that much market share. Some are there. Some others are also there, but these are major ones. Okay, so some of them are proprietary. For example, Amazon ECS, partly open source like Azure Service Fabric, open source like Kubernetes, Docker Swarm, etc. Okay, so each of them is providing has proven container orchestration capabilities on certain areas, and they are consistently adding improvements. For example, Azure Service Fabric good on Windows containers, but they have also added support for Linux containers. We also saw Hashicorp Nomad, wherein they have proven that they can increase nodes up to 1 million earlier, and then recently they have increased nodes containers up to 2 million. Earlier they did up to 1 million. No, so these kind of things are very useful when you want to make a trade decision whether you want to buy or sell something, so that you can quickly increase the number of containers, and once your work is done you can reduce it. So they are also adding new features in Hashicorp Nomad as well. Nomad, Docker Swarm, when you are starting with container orchestration, maybe this is a good thing to check. Mesos is a very big very big system. Out of that, Marathon is one of the framework, and it provides container orchestration capabilities, and Kubernetes is a de facto standard. So as mentioned, like all of them have proven orchestration, have provided container orchestration capabilities on certain areas. They are strong in certain areas, and they are consistently adding improvements and new areas, because there will be competition, right? So they are adding new features. Okay, so Yeah, one thing I want to tell is there is something WebAssembly. I have made a video on that. Maybe I will put a link as well. But what it does is like you have around 40 to 60 languages which can be compiled to WASM, and then that WASM build you can deploy it to Docker or wherever. So it can be supported with existing orchestration systems, and later on there can be systems which are built orchestration system specifically for WASM as well. So new areas are as well coming.